Thanks for joining us here at Enjoy the View Travel, and welcome to the channel. This week's View on Travel Season 2 starts now. Hey, it's Brittany with Enjoy the View Travel, and you're watching this week's View on Travel. A big heads up for those of you who are taking ride shares to the airport in Nashville, Tennessee. Starting on June 3rd, the ride share drop-off area is going to change. It will now be in the Ground Transportation Center, which is over in Terminal Garage 2. And this is an effort to help alleviate the curbside congestion that is constant in Nashville. It's going to create about a 10-minute walk, though, for you to get to the terminal check-in area. So just a heads up, that is going to start on June 3rd. Well, if you missed our special edition of this week's View on Travel earlier this week, we announced Celebrity's big plans for Celebrity Renewed. So they are taking some of our beloved older ships and giving them a major refresh, starting with Celebrity Solstice. So there's going to be a new Sunset Park, expansion of the Sunset Bar, 2 new specialty restaurants, 2 new hotspots, and all of the rooms are getting a makeover. So be sure to check out that episode. It was episode 15 for more details, including on when the renewed ship is going to start sailing in 2026. And if you'd like additional details on booking the renewed Celebrity Solstice, reach out to me at enjoytheviewtravel.com. I will be attending a webinar this week, and I hope to get some additional information that I'll be able to share with you about Celebrity Renewed. So stay tuned. As the travel season kicks off, we do have some travel advisory updates. The U.S. has updated a couple of their travel advisories this past week, including Jamaica. Now, Jamaica was actually lowered from a level 3 to a level 2. Reminder that a level 2 is to exercise increased caution. Brazil was increased to a level 2 due to an increase in their crime and kidnapping. France was also increased to a level 2 with increased concerns about some terrorism and civil unrest, along with an increase in pickpocketing targeting cell phones. So if you're headed to any of these areas, please use caution. And remember to always check the U.S. State Department's website for the latest travel advisories for where you will be traveling. Well, in a surprise move, the voters in Sitka, Alaska have voted to reject a proposal that would limit the number of cruise ships and cruisers visiting Sitka. This comes after other proposals at other Alaska ports have been implemented to start next year, doing just that, limiting cruise ships and visitors, including Juneau, Alaska. So we will keep you up to date on if that takes another vote or if that just goes by the wayside. Just a warning, there could be some air problems over the next week or so as the Saharan dust storm makes its way into the Caribbean, Mexico, and parts of the United States. Also, parts of the United States are supposed to be getting some smoke from the Canadian wildfires as well. So just be alert, especially if you have family members who have some breathing issues. You can expect to see hazy skies, reduced visibility, and a lower air quality. So I've talked to you before about the ETA, which is needed to get into the UK now. But did you know that there are other countries that you either need an ETA or a visa for if you are a U.S. citizen who is planning to visit that country? So there are about 15 countries, and I'm excluding anybody that is in the level 4 do not travel list. So these are just a list from countries that you can travel to. And you'll need either an ETA or a visa for them. It includes countries, but not limited to the UK, Australia, New Zealand, Egypt, China, Brazil, and Vietnam, to name a few. And there are some others. But those are just the couple that I'm going to highlight. Each country has its own requirements, application process, and fees. So you'll need to check into those. And sometimes they do change. So give yourself plenty of time to get that taken care of. Okay, you want to make sure that you are checking the U.S. State Department website for the most updated list and requirements. And also, don't forget, we talked recently about your passport needing to be good for 6 months after your travel for many countries, okay? So keep a check on that as well. If you like our content, please click the like, share, and subscribe button so you don't miss our next episode. Also, drop us a comment below. We'd love to hear from you. If you're planning to fly with United Airlines next week, they have changed their takeoff requirements. So as of June 3rd, which I believe is Tuesday, be prepared to adjust your travel routine. The airline has updated its policy, now requiring you to check in at least 45 minutes before departure on any domestic flight, even if you are not checking luggage. Now, this is a 15-minute increase from the previous 30 minutes that were required. Now, as a travel agent, I always tell my clients to be at the airport 2 hours before their flight is supposed to take off. If it's an international flight, then 3 hours before. I never go that close to actual, check-in time. So you do you, but know that United has changed theirs to 45 minutes before flights. So be there on time. I know, it's summer and you see pictures of snow, but for our travel deal of the week, Alaska cruise season is in full swing. And believe it or not, there are still open cabins on just about every cruise line for the Alaska season. Now, the Alaska season typically goes May through September. So inside cabins all the way up to suites are still available. However, they are starting to get very limited. Keep in mind that cruises have to be paid for 3 months in advance. So most likely you will have to pay for the whole cruise up front. Airfare could also be tricky this close and maybe a little pricey depending on how far out you're booking this. So keep that in mind too. But if you are looking for a last minute cruise to Alaska, contact me at enjoytheviewtravel.com for more details. I can get you some pricing and rooms that are available on just about any cruise line. All right, let's wind up this week's view on travel with our travel tip of the week. I get asked often, is it better to plan your trip way in advance or last minute? And really, that just depends. So if you're looking at booking a more expensive vacation, most of the cruise companies and tour operators that I work with allow you to make a deposit and then pay for your trip over time. So if it's an expensive trip, that's helpful. If you're cruising, payments are due 3 months before your cruise, and they pretty much let you pay however you want after you make the initial deposit. And of course, that deposit is going to vary per cruise line. We have some cruise lines that it's $99 a person, and other cruise lines that it's $250 a person. So it's just going to vary. Tour operators also require a deposit, and again, it will vary per company, and they will usually give you a final payment date or a schedule of when payments are due. They may require that you have so many payments due until the final payment. So if you are doing a last minute trip, it's most likely going to be payment due upon booking at that point. Sometimes you can get a deal waiting last minute, but that leaves you subject to availability of rooms. Maybe not where you're wanting on the resort, or maybe not where you're wanting on the cruise ship. And they can get rather limited. So, you got to keep that in mind. Are you a gambler? Also, with travel being in so much demand right now, we are not seeing those last minute deals like we used to. And those are getting harder and harder to find. So are you a planner, or are you a last minute fly by the seat of your pants traveler? Let us know in the comments below. As always, if I can help you in any way planning your next trip, please reach out to me at enjoytheviewtravel.com or on our social media. Thank you so much for watching this week's View on Travel, and until next time, enjoy the view. Thank you for watching this week's View on Travel. Be sure to visit us at enjoytheviewtravel.com. Be sure to hit that like, share, subscribe, and notification bell so you don't miss our next episode.